the month of June, when the roses were in bloom, he tucked me in his arms and said to me, "You're a flower that's blooming in the wildwood, a flower that's blooming there for me, sweeter than the morning dew, and I'll soon return to you. You're a flower that's blooming there for me." From the captain on the sea that told me that my darling was dead. Oh, the shock and great surprise made the teardrops fill my eyes when I thought about the last words that he said. "You're a flower that's blooming in the wildwood, a flower that's blooming there for me, sweeter than the morning dew, and I'll soon return to you. You're a flower that's blooming there for me." Drowned in the sea and has passed over life's weary way. When it's in the month of June and the roses are in bloom, it seems I can hear my lover say, "You're a flower that's blooming in the wildwood, a flower that's blooming there for me, sweeter than the morning dew, and I'll soon return to you. You're a flower that's blooming there for me." Turn to you. You're a flower that's blooming there for me. Sunshine, you tore down the walls around my heart. I know it's too late to mend a heart that's broken, crumbled and shattered down the line. I've shed many tears just thinking of the past, and I wonder if our love's the heathen kind. Well, hello. Oh, guess I need to turn the... Yeah, well, I can't help it. I really like bluegrass. Showing my age, I guess. Kinda-ish. Shut up. Leave me alone. I'm old. I like being old. Well, for the most part. Welcome back. Live with the Shaman. Right here. We are... Where are we? What the hell are we doing? Oh, I need to remind you that we are an adult channel here on Live with the Shaman. Even on days that we don't feel like adulting, we're all adults. And I hope everyone will act accordingly. Well, we're on the training course of what we teach here at um, Grove of the Celtic Shaman. We're going through the training course as we're writing it. Of course, we've been around since 2000, but we've never actually written a training course, a training manual, the way, things that we teach our shaman students to do as they go along. So, with that in mind, we are moving into part three of the first year training. Now, again, I remind you, we are an adult channel. We do use language that may not always be suitable for younger wee ears. So there you go. Um, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to political correctness like I have to over in Open Pagan Church. I have to kind of watch what I say over there. Over here, nope. Shaman, ism, kinda, ish, sorta. Anyway, I digress. What we're covering this week, I hope, if we have enough time for sure, we will be discovering what is counsel, right? What are they? Who are they? Where do they come from? Why the hell do we need them? Do we need them? Why do we use them? We'll be talking about, if we have enough time, the differences between a ritual and a ceremony. Where they come from, some of the differences, some of the different ways we use both of them, right? What we may do with a ceremonial ritual. Is there a ceremonial ritual? Sure there is. So without further ado, I want to thank you all. Thank those of you who are joining this morning. We are here on first year training part 3. And if you don't understand English, that's 3. I think. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3. Part 3. How many parts are there going to be? Who the hell knows? We're just going to keep going till we're done. Right. Here we go. And we're off. Great. Listening while I work. You go. Francina, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Welcome. All right. So we left off part 2 last week. Last week we talked about the circle, how we in the Grove set up the circle. We put a diagram in the training manual of how we set up the circle. It's probably not the most pretty thing in the world, but hey, it gets it done. This week we're going to be talking about, and I want to start out with, who is the counsel? Well, the counsel is anybody? Morning, Clint. Anybody? Who's the council? The Council of 9. Who are they? I probably should have had that pulled up, huh? Training. Right. Who is the council? The Council of 9. If you'll notice in our diagram here, the Council of 9 is ta-da, northeast, southwest, spirit, air, fire, water, earth. That is the Council of 9. Now, there are some cases where students, myself included, I have names for gods and goddesses of the Celts in each one of these council of 9 areas. When I go into meditation, when I go into meditation and I go to the Great Hall, I tend to sit and speak to the 9 gods and goddesses of my council. Now, does that mean my first years have to have the same council? No, not at all. Not any way, shape, form, or fashion. However, in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman tradition, we do carry the council close to our heart. That's part of your training in the GCS. And here's the layout right here. In the north, we call the northern portal, and then we go around east, south, west, blah blah, and then we start back in north again, and we call spirit, and then we go to the midpoint between north and east, which is air, the midpoint between east and south, which is fire, then the midpoint between south and west, which is water, and the midpoint between west and north, which is air. If you're wonderfully confused, very good. We like confusion. And then, of course, the center is our fire pit. Now, let's explain a little bit before we go any further. Let's explain something real simple. You don't, in order to call a high circle, a first year student will never be allowed to call a high circle. They'll learn to call a high circle. What the hell is a high circle? A high circle is the Triad. The Triad is the Great Spirit, God and Goddess, and the Council of 9. That is a high circle. A low circle is the cardinal points. North, east, south, and west. That's a low circle. The standard ritual circle, the standard um, Sabbath circle, is a mid circle, which is a council of 9. Right? Now, can you do this at home? Sure. Can you do it at your desk? Sure. Can you do it in your living room? Sure. I don't recommend you put a bonfire in your living room. That could get a little expensive, not to mention dangerous. I did that when I was 5. Went camping in our living room. My parents managed to put the fire out. And it took a very long time to put the fire out in my ass because my ass was pretty hot for a couple of weeks. Yeah, didn't do that again. Anyway, I digress. So, who is the council? Well, the council at their basics, right? The council of 9 at their basis is the combination of the cardinal points and the elements. Right? How many are they? I didn't want to answer this until we covered it in class. There are 9. Okay. What is the Council of 9? What is the Council of 9? They are north, south, nope, north, east, south, and west. My alarm's a little late to be going off, methinks. That doesn't need to be. And anybody sending me IMs or messages, please forgive me. I'll get back to you just as soon as I possibly can. If you have questions, whether you're shaman or not, okay, whether you're just watching, listening, you're all welcome. I want to make sure that I voice that in the broadcast, okay? If you have questions, You don't have to be shaman to ask questions during our training situations. This is the way people learn. I like questions. Questions are cool. So if you have questions, put them out there. If you're sending me a PM, I promise I'll get to you as soon as I can. Because it is real easy to derail me, especially when I'm working on these things. How many are there? There are 9, right? So, um, Council of 9 is north, south, east, and west. Then, I told you it's easy to derail me. Spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. Okay, so what we what we look at here is they are, and in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, they are always called clockwise. They are never called counterclockwise. We cast up clockwise and we cast down center. Ah, that ought to mess with a couple of them. All right. We call up clockwise, right? We call down center. In other words, generally, when we call down circle or we call down ritual. We um, go to the northern altar and we thank the Council of 9 for their presence. And of course, go if you must, stay if you will, so mote it be. But that is done what we call center, or we go to the fire pit and we call them down. We don't, uh, we never, ever go counterclockwise. And for us, the natural flow of things are always forward. Okay? I understand why Wicca and witchcraft and some of the other groups cast up clockwise and cast down counterclockwise. I get it. I've stood in many of their circles, witnessed a lot of their rituals, and the energy was really cool. But as far as shaman, as far as Grove of the Celtic Shaman, this is what we've done for now on 20 years, and it's just the way the tradition is written and carries out. So yes, they always call. Um, Now, here's one of the things that some people may or may not understand. Northeast, south, and west never change. I say again, of course, duh. North, east, south, and west never change. Spirit never changes. Spirit is always in the north. However, I'm talking on the left screen like you can see what the hell I'm talking about. Right. Northeast, south, and west never change. However, spirit also never changes. It is in the north. Now, air, fire, water, earth. Air, fire, water, and earth can change depending on the type of circle you're calling, right? And you'll find out more as to why here in a little bit when we start talking about the differences between ceremony and ritual. What are the differences between ritual and ceremony? Now, so if you have any questions as to, and I realize there's quite a few people that will watch the pre-recorded broadcast later and probably have questions. Quite a few people typically can't make it this early, like 11 o'clock in the morning is early. Anyway, but if you have questions later, feel free to post them, preferably PM them to me if you can, or put them in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. You're welcome to take a look. So There are nine. And yes, there is not a specific vocal ceremonial script that is followed when calling the Council of Nine. There's never been a script. We don't use a script. The Grove of the Celtic Shaman does rituals, and rituals are done what we call by the seat of your pants. In other words, we step into circle and we call what council moves us, we call what spirit guide moves us to call. Now, I have stood in rituals, and I'm going to be very careful how I say this because I don't want to put down anybody's path or craft that might be watching our pre recorded broadcast later. But I have attended and stood in what they call crossfire rituals. Yeah, crossfire rituals where they swap north and south. They'll call north in the southern portal, call south in the northern portal. They'll call west in the eastern portal and call east in the western portal. And I had such an effing hangover after that ritual and such a massive headache after that ritual. I swore I would never go into a crossfire ritual ever again. For those of you that just joining, kind of catch up. Right. So, what are the council? North, east, south, and west. Then, spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. Okay? That is the basis for council. And if we look on our diagram, we can see the way it lays out here. Okay? North, east, south, and west. Spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. And you'll notice I've got them lined down here as to which one is which and who's to where. Some people have two spirit guides, some people have multiple spirit guides, most people only have one spirit guide. Some people have a mystical guide and some people have a warrior self. We'll go into those as we get along. And then we have visitors in council, also known as seps of a council. You may build friends of your council as time goes on, or visitors that may come into your council chambers as you're having meditations with council. Well, in Francina, am I pronouncing that correctly? Anyway, um, if you haven't been, or if you're not shaman, then you're really kind of not expected to understand all of this. I mean, understandably enough, when I first started out way back, I went to Wiccan sir. She calls me sir. Don't call me sir. Hey you is fine. Call me whatever you want to call me as long as you call me in time for dinner, sir. Anyway, um, phew, she says. But if you think about it, back when I first started out, morning Michelle, when I was finding who I am and when I was finding who I was, okay, I went to Alexandrian Wicca circles. A real good friend of mine started or brought to Houston the Alexandrian tradition many, many, many years ago. Many, many, many years ago. And she brought what she learned of the Alexandrian Wiccan tradition. And God, I don't even know if she's still alive now or not. She's older than I am. Yeah, no jokes on age. Um, but I communicated a lot with her about what um, what Wicca is and the differences. And she is the one that educated me on the difference between Wicca and witchcraft. She's the one that explained to me not all witches are Wiccan, but all Wiccans are witches. Yeah, something like that. Like um, most all witches are pagan, but not all pagans are, well, all Wiccan. All Wiccans are pagan, but not all pagans are Wiccan. Anyway, boy, that'll flat ass curl your toenails and tangle your tongue. Anyway, onward to something I know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, it's an education, right? And I've stood in druidic circles. I've stood in satanic, Dianic, um, Luciferian, vampiric. I've been I've been fortunate enough in the pagan community, especially down south between Houston, Beaumont, Louisiana, that I've been fortunate enough to have been able to stand in a boatload of different ceremonial type rituals, and we're going to be talking about that here in a minute. But onward and upward. Yes, thank you, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Yes, all Wiccans are pagan, but not all pagans are Wiccan. Yes, you're you're looking at one here. I'm definitely not Wiccan. I love Wiccans, love witches, but I am definitely shaman. Here we go. Anyway, onward and upward. So, who's the Triad? Now, well, um, the Triad. Who is the Triad? Well, the Triad is Great Spirit, Great. Well, I'll check it in a minute. Great Spirit, God and Goddess. Or now there is an actual reason why we we call it this, and I'll get to I'll get to your questions in just a moment. But there really is an actual reason why we call it this, because hey, I did spell it right. Son of a gun. In case you haven't noticed, I royally suck at spelling. Anyway, um, so who and what is the Triad? Well, who they are is Great Spirit, God, and Goddess, or Great Spirit, Goddess, and God. Now, the Great Spirit, understand, is an androgynous being. Great Spirit is neither neither and or both male and female. Androgynous being neither male nor female, but embodying both essences thereof. So when we start talking about the Great Spirit, we're talking about the combination or the culmination of masculine and feminine. Now let me get this out there before somebody starts tripping. Masculine is not always male, man of the species. Feminine is not always female, right, or woman of the species. There is masculine and feminine in both of the species, male and female, right? So it's in that embodiment that as shaman we tend to call Great Spirit, which is known as the Triad, which you can see on the triadogram, which is a symbol for the HOP right here. You'll notice GCS, Grove of the Celtic Shaman, right? And we have the Triad, Great Spirit, God and Goddess, or Great Spirit, Goddess, and God, depending on what aspect we're calling. Then we have the pentagram, of course, uh, Spirit, Spirit, Air, Fire, Water, Earth, or Spirit, Earth, Air, Fire, Water, however you think you want to call it, right? So the triadogram is the registered symbol of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, because the big circle out here, that is the cosmos. That is all, that's everything there is to us. Wonderfully confused yet? So let's take a minute and let our brains absorb, right? So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about counsel. We're talking about basically what makes us shaman when we call a ritual. Other than that, we're just basic everyday folk. We're just basic everyday pagan doing our thing, loving the poly polytheist, as it were, the multiple gods and goddesses that are out there. Shamans are very big in education. We want to learn about, we want to learn a little bit about everything. It's better than knowing a whole lot about nothing. So my students are encouraged to learn about other paths and study other philosophies and ideas to help make them a better shaman. All right, so off we go. Who and what are the Triad? Well, here they are right here. Now there may be times we may need to call on the aspect of the goddess first, such as if we're asking for guidance, if we're asking for nurturing, the nurturing that the mother gives, the feminine gives. If you'll notice, there's a number of times where, quote, dad might be Mr. Mom and stay at home taking care of the kids, doing the nurturing, and mom is out working, doing things that need to be done, the working mom. But that doesn't always mean that mom is God and dad is goddess, as we're not even going there. Well, I guess you could if you wanted to, but anyway, to us, when we call the goddess before the god, we're needing more of the aspect of the goddess, the feminine, right? All right, so how many are there? Hmm? 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 How many are they? How many are there of the triad? I hope like hell everybody says three. Anybody says 6, I may throw something at you metaphysically. Anyway, all right. Do you ever call the triad as a first year? Do 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 do. One more. Yep. No. No. Meh. Done. 3. 3, but 9 3/4 is also fun. Leave it to Clint. By the way, those of you that don't know, Clint is one of the masters of the Grove, and Michelle is a first year within the Grove. Bless her heart. Clint's one of the masters. Cindy was in earlier. She's also one of the masters of the Grove. Michelle um, is our only, as far as I know, our only remote student, my only remote student at this moment. That's part of the kind of the reason we decided to do these classes in live with the shaman, because it gives a better insight as to what we train and how we train for new newcomers, and for those of you that are not necessarily shaman but happen to think we're as fun to watch as a bunch of fish in a bowl. You know what I'm saying? No, you're absolutely correct, Clint. Um, the reason the reason we don't allow first years to call the triad, and some people might think us a bit pretentious. Some people might think us a bit pretentious. Some people might think us a bit stuck on ourselves, but we're not. I promise. The reason we don't allow someone to call the triad as a first year is because calling the triad for a high ritual, you're essentially shooting a fly with a shotgun. You're essentially calling Great Spirit, God, and Goddess, who are extremely busy doing other things, I'm sure, to come down and, I don't know, make your job better, make bills easier to pay, things that people might cast on a daily basis. You're not going to call forward a great big ass tank to shoot a fly on a fence post, I hope. Now, I have had those that ask me, well, why don't you call on the biggest to do the smallest job, so it's nothing for them? They can just boop and it's done. No. Nope. That's not the way we do things in the GCS. You don't start learning the triad until the priesthood. Well, you learn them, you learn about them, who they are, how they work. They will have an effect on your training. Ha ha ha. They will have an effect on who you are and the outcome and who you become. Um, yeah, Clint said first time he called them, their energies overwhelmed him. All right. So one of the interesting things is, and I gotta love Clint, bless his heart. He's a big fella. He's always thought he's bulletproof, 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Well, when he came over to shamanism, he was taught real quick. There ain't a damn one of us 10 foot tall, and there ain't a damn one of us bulletproof. And when you start calling the triad prior to it's time to call them, the world is not a nice place for a couple of days. Was it Clint? Ah, loving death. He's a hell of a master priest within the Grove, good trainer. He's got his own circle down in Liberty, down south between Houston and Beaumont. Anyway, onward and upward. So we typically, once again, we're not going to call we're not going to call a shotgun to shoot a fly. So let's kind of take a recap real quick. I don't know that we're really going to have time to go into ceremony and ritual. We'll probably do that next week. I kind of figured discussing council and triad would eat up the better part of the hour. So if nobody has any questions, excuse me, sorry. Let's kind of recap real quick. All right. Oh, and by the way, switched over to Dr. Pepper. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a cup like my coffee cup that'll keep Dr. Pepper cold. Yeah. Okay. So let's recap. Today we talked about what is the council, how many there are, what are they, and how they work. If, like in meditation, for example, you can call on a single element, a single cardinal point of the council. Say, for example, you're just, you want to get an influx of positive energy. So, and you're doing exercises as a first year. And this is something that you first years need to get a hold of real quick, because here is your training of how to use the council as a single object. You can, while in meditation, I don't recommend doing it as a ritual, but you can, while in meditation, open the northern portal. It's best to do it against a tree and nature or whatever, but if you don't have any, you're sitting at home in your apartment, housing, or whatever your living conditions may be, you can call on a single cardinal point to assist you. Say, for example, if you're doing exercises and you want to juggle simply, strictly, totally, only positive energy. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not as fluffy bunny as you may think it can be. Juggling only positive energy can be overwhelming. If you need to call just the eastern portal to bring in the warmth and the sunshine of the sun, that can also not be as fluffy bunny as you might think. So yes, you can call just air. Now, guys, let me warn you on this. We did a beach trip some years back in Galveston. Several of us shamans thought it would be cool to call the wind, call in the air to make the waves larger in Galveston. That night at 2 a.m., or actually the next morning at 2 a.m., a freak sandstorm blew up that ran down the center of Galveston with 65-mile-an-hour winds. We never did that again. East portal, yes. Did I say west? Anyway, west. Sorry. Well, shit. Anyway, yes, balance. Sun is east, moon is west. Shit. Francina, oh shit. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It was a definite oh shit moment. Let me tell you, we had tents blowing, we had sand in places there shouldn't have been sand, and it was rather a nasty event. And we got a big laugh about it later because nobody was hurt. But when you call on a single cardinal point, or you call on a single element without looking at balance in that, you can open yourself up for a world of crap, right? So, yes, um, can you call Great Spirit without pulling the entire triad? There have been times, um, there have been times where I may use the term God help you. I think that's more of a metaphor than anything else. There have been times when I've said, may the goddess watch over you if you're going to do something that stupid. These are metaphors. This isn't actually really calling on the goddess. But then again, is it? That comes down to interpretation. Um, I use a lot, may the Great Spirit guide you on your path. That I use a lot. That is a calling. That is a blessing of the Great Spirit. I'm not actually separating the masculine or the feminine. Um, there have been times that I may say, may the air and the waters be kind to you on your voyage. If I know somebody's going to go on a cruise of some kind, I will say, may the air and the waters be kind to you on your voyage. This type of thing. So yes, you can utilize singular um, singular elements or singular cardinal points, which is again why shamans do not combine north with a particular element or east with a particular element. I don't even remember what most Wiccan covens combine the cardinal points with on the particular elements. I know that it can vary from witch coven to witch coven and from Gardnerian, Alexandrian, and let's see, Gardnerian, Alexandrian, and what's the other one? Ah, well, shit, I forgot. But anyway, somebody else can answer that. What else? Any questions? Seriously. Um, I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can change. I'll see if I can edit that after class is over. You may be right, Dawn. Dianic. Um, I had a friend of mine that one of her Patreon goddesses was Diana. Racing, I feel like I should have been taking notes, man. You can always come back and rewatch it. I mean, we're it. I've got a couple of sites that I archive on. So whatever you don't find on our Facebook sites, Wonder Woman. Hey, don't even get me to Wonder Woman. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, sorry. Get me started on Wonder Woman. Hell, I'll forget what my name is. All right. So, um, let's see. Back over here. Nope. All right. Chapter 3. We will continue on the 10th. I I actually mostly do this for my own well-being because I have a memory like a sieve and I will forget what the hell I covered and end up having to go back and rewatch my own video to remember what the hell I covered. CHP, eclectic coven. Oh, thank you, Don. Um, well, I mean, one of the things that one of the things that we could do, and of course, I'm just kind of chatting right now. Um, Tell you what, let's do this. Hang with me just a second. Don't anybody go anywhere. Do 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 do. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Um, I'm going to sign off the recording, but I'm going to stay live here on Facebook for a few moments, right? Because I have to convert these recordings and upload them to the archive. But we're going to stay live on Facebook for just a few more moments, right? Um, as always, thank you for watching the archives live with the Shaman. We hope to see you next time right here for another mind blowing topic. Have a great day.